Welcome, everybody. Thank you so much for joining me this evening. Unfortunately, sadly, that AB Science had a prior engagement he forgot about, so unfortunately, he'll be on in August instead of tonight. So I do apologize for this, but I will be changing everything after the stream and making a new thumbnail and everything for you guys. So tonight, we have Bacon Earth joining us once again. He was my first guest that I had on my show, and he is joining us for the second time. How are you?
I am very good, thank you. And I'm also your first returning guest.
Yes, you are. Yes, you are. Well spotted. Well spotted. So, yes, I do apologize if you guys were waiting for AB Science to be on. But unfortunately, life does happen. So, we have to understand such things, and as we do. But I would like to welcome Mr. Victory, Chris, Jane, Neil, and Susanna. Thank you so much for joining. It's so great of you guys to be here. Sure, it's been quite a weekend. I'm not going to lie. I've been quite busy and enjoying myself this weekend.
It's been a long weekend. I had a very nice day just chilling with a friend.
Yeah, same. My eyes are sore now. But yeah. Hi, Kiri. Nice to see you. It's good to see you. It's all good to see you guys. Please forgive me, guys. Tonight I almost canceled. I'm just so tired. But the show must go on. It needs to happen. And no problem, Kiri. That's fine. I'm just glad that you'll be able to at least listen as well. So that's fine. I don't mind. So yes, you know the drill. I don't have to explain much to you, but
but I think Kiri needs to explain herself because she says she's doing the kids for dinner. So is she roasting them or microwaving?
She could be grilling them.
Ooh, grilled children.
Okay, so I do need to fix that now. So let me just quickly go through the rules and such. as we know, it's 4 questions per show. There is, sorry, I'm just trying to do 300 things at once. So there's 4 questions per show, and we will discuss them. These answers will be raw answers, like in a normal conversation. And all these questions were done around about this time last year. So you can imagine my memory by now. So I also would just quickly like to bring up, I do apologize for my video yesterday. I stupidly rendered the video without putting the audio back on. That's what happens when you are doing 2 things at once. I do apologize. I have taken it down and re-uploaded it. So I do apologize for that. But, mistakes happen, things happen, and I'm hoping that you guys did go back to watch it. So just to go back to this, is no wrong answers, wrong or right answers. It is based on opinion and experience. After each of us have discussed it to as much as we can, we will hand it over to the chat to see if you guys have anything to say. I understand that the football is on tonight or today for anybody that is interested in watching. I do understand that. But as much as I don't mind football, if you guys would rather go be watching that, that's fine with me. But it would be nice. It's also nice to have you guys here as well.
It's all right. If they go and watch the football, they're only going to go watch England lose.
You don't need to put your team down, Bacon.
I'm not English.
Oh, yes, you're not English anyway, so it doesn't even matter.
No, that.
But I do see that the Scots have taken over the chat, though, so that's okay. There's more Scottish in the side chat than there is any other country, which is great. There's something in the water there, so it's all good. So let me quickly just change this. Sorry, let me just quickly change this. At least people don't get confused and then get angry with me for keeping it the same. Let's say it changes. So hopefully that changes on your guys' side. If it doesn't, just refresh your page. I've just changed it to Bacon Earth goes out of this world with me. Anyway, let us Scots for the win. Yes, as I said, there's something in the water there. Anyway, but shall we get to the answers? As you can tell, I'm here but not here, but I'm willing to do this anyway.
Let's get the show on the road.
Alrighty, let's hope that the questions are better than last time. Although we did have good questions last time, what I can remember at least.
Yes, they were interesting, and I'm interested to see what other little rabbit hole we're going to fall down tonight.
Yeah, and let's go. Okay, so and there we go. So question 1 is a sense of humor a byproduct of consciousness or something else entirely? Is a sense of humor a byproduct of consciousness or something else entirely?
All right, so I see we're going straight off the deep end. So
do we go anywhere else?
It's very rare these days.
Yeah, exactly.
For me, I would say they have to be linked, because at the end of the day, humor comes from who we are, our experiences, our recollection of our experiences, who we grew up around, and that all forms part of ourself, and I would include our consciousness into that.
I think you need to be conscious to have a sense of humor. I mean, the only other creature I know that has a sense of humor to a degree is a cat. Like, I saw a picture today of a cat that's got its babies in like a little bundle, and I know this was a human's wording, but it said, I asked you for minions of the dark, not fluffy jelly beans. You know, now you could imagine a cat saying something like that if they could talk, you know. But I think we just put a sense of humor to cats because we know how they are.
Is that a sense of humor, or I see? For me, a cat would have a sense of entitlement.
Okay, you can leave now. No, I agree. I agree. I do agree.
Cats have slaves, not owners.
Yes, I know, because I am one. I'm one of two. So, no, I think you do. I think it's I think having a conscience is something that makes you alive. So, but not everybody has a sense of humor. That's the difference. So you don't have to be conscious to have a sense of humor. Oh, sorry, you don't have to have a sense of humor and be conscious. Does that make sense?
Yes, but if you ask those people that you disagree that have a sense of humor, would they say they have one?
I like to think that I do.
No, I'm talking So if you meet somebody who you think doesn't have a sense of humor, and you ask them, do they? Would they be? What would their answer be? My experience says they would answer, "Of course, I've got a sense of humor."
Yeah, but then it's just a case of proving if they do or not.
Yes, but then are they lacking self-awareness instead?
If you saying that you have a sense of humor and you actually don't, you have no self-awareness whatsoever. None. Because you have no idea what you are portraying. So you have no self-awareness. Am I wrong? Am I right? Speak to me. Don't just sit there.
I think you're. I'm inclined to agree, but then if you have no self-awareness, doesn't really, in my opinion, leave you a very nice person, because you're inclined to be a little bit self-centered and narcissistic.
Yes, of course.
So,
no, of course. So I mean, I and now we're going right off the bat. We're going right onto a different trail here. But
none of our conversations ever stayed on one track.
Well, I'm trying to, since this time it's a show and not just us talking. So, trying to keep things to the question, you know.
Right. So, back on track.
Back on track, yes.
Is a sense of humor a large part of our consciousness then?
No, because some people really don't have a sense of humor.
Yeah.
You can tell a joke and this person's going to take it so differently. But yet again, that also depends on the joke.
Yes, because, like for example, you have quite a dark sense of humor, and it's not necessarily always appropriate depending on who you have around you.
No, not just that. It's, you know, something that you have a sense of humor, but something that you don't find funny. For instance, something that's not, something broke because you did something with it, and people are saying, "Oh, you broke it," and in actual fact, it was all a joke. That's not a joke. That's not funny. You didn't break it. People were just making a joke, and that's not funny to me. Say, for instance, if Frank did a burnout on his bike, and ripped apart the engine or blew the engine or whatever. Well, no, didn't do it, but people are saying, no, stop. You blew your engine, or something sounds funny. That's not funny to me. That's not funny to me. Because that's a lot of money to joke about,
Yeah.
So, I mean, it just depends on the person. But again, you don't have to be conscious and have a sense of humor. Some people just don't have one, and that's okay. There's nothing wrong with not having a sense of humor.
No, at the end of the day, some people just aren't built that way because of their own experiences. A lot of it.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, a lot of the really good humor comes from bad experiences and learning to deal with them and have a laugh at them in the future.
No, because that's then I feel if you're able to talk about something easily, you are, and without being hurt and without being, without being hurt and coming across being negative about the situation, like you still pulling on it and you're still dragging it with you, then yes, you can move on from it and you can have a sense of humor from it. And you just deal with it as if it's everyday life now. Or you've dealt with it, you just put it a part of everyday life. Because why not?
But then to actually answer this question properly, we will actually then have to know what consciousness is, which is
something we've already spoken about in previous questions.
Exactly, and that's
another rabbit hole I don't want to go down with.
No, that's the thing. I don't think you get to an answer on that one anyway, because we know so little about the mind and the brain.
Agreed, I agree. Right, shall we take it to the side chat? At the moment, only Chris agrees with you, with one of your statements. And then Susanna says, this is a really difficult question. How to remove something from our consciousness is to define it. Well, this is why you don't have to have a sense of humor. Maybe I'm understanding your question wrong, Susanna, but you don't have to be conscious and have a sense of humor.
I think what she's saying is, if you can remove it, or if not everybody has it, then is it actually linked to the consciousness?
No, it's not.
So you're saying then sense of humor for you is something completely different then? From the
sense of humor has got nothing to do with me being conscious.
Yeah.
My sense of humor is is something that's come from my life and what I've lived through and what I find funny because of who I am.
But you love dad jokes.
I do love dad jokes. There's nothing wrong with dad jokes. I think they're daft but funny. It's something that really can uplift you.
Yeah, simple things in life, definitely.
Yes, yeah, it's simple. They are funny. If you don't find them funny, then that's okay. I find them funny. I find some of them freaking very clever, to be honest. Not everybody thinks that way. So to have a sense of humor, it's a different way of thinking. If you don't find it funny, it doesn't mean you're not thinking right. It's just you have a different way of thinking.
Yeah, different sense of humor, and everybody's sense of humor is different.
If they have one.
Exactly.
Oh, goodness. Is there anybody else that has a statement or question about this one? This one seems very clean cut right now. Finally, a question that's clean cut. You don't have to link your sense of humor to being conscious. But I think we can move along, hey?
Yeah, let's bring it on.
Awesome. Right, question 2 says, are intelligence and happiness tied together in any way? If you are highly intelligent, is it more likely that you'll be more or less happy? No. No. Someone can be incredibly intelligent. Doesn't mean they're happy.
No, and actually, one of the things I was listening to this week was about Ted's. I'm sorry, I can't remember his second name. But the Unabomber, and this guy was actually a certified genius, and he went to Harvard 3 years early, and got enrolled in a what is now classed as general studies. It was brand new then, to teach people about the world. And the philosophers in the university and the professors said that science will be the end of man because we can't stop it. And the scientists agreed. So he actually took this in a very literal sense, to the extent that he wanted to stop the progress of technology. And he went down a very dark road because he was that intelligent. He put everything together, whereas if you and I were given the same class, we would probably just forget it and move on. It's part of life. It wouldn't mean anything to us, but again, because of his intelligence, he actually sat and dwelled on this to the extent that he started sending bombs in the mail.
That's insane. I must say, it's insane how a mind can go, though.
Yeah. So
no, intelligence doesn't mean you're happy, and vice versa.
No, because again, then look at Stephen Hawking. Again, another genius, with a really shit hand being dealt to him in life with all his medical problems. Yet he was able to go and take the piss out of himself on shows like The Big Bang Theory and enjoy life. So again, it comes. I think for me, it would more come back to the type of experiences we have growing up and our ability to deal with it, whether it's through therapy, through friends, through self-expression, whether that be music, art, video games, whatever way you have to release, so that you're not dwelling on all the negativity and everything else that's going on.
Yes. No, I agree with you. I think sometimes an intelligent person doesn't know how to switch off, and that could lead them into depression. So again, not happy. They don't know how to release. They don't know how to let go of what's in their head. You know, I guess some people do. I guess some really do, and in the end, they've managed to make themselves happy by finding a release, by finding something that doesn't make them have to use their brain, and they're still comfortable with themselves when they don't have to use their intelligence all the time. I mean, it must be crazy. I mean, I'm not saying that there are some people that are stupid. We're all clever in our own way. We all know something more than someone else. And that's, that to me is a different kind of intelligence. But everyone's intelligence in one way or another. It's just depending on how much,
Yes, and again, depending on the type of intelligence, there's book smarts, there's experience, intelligence through experience, and if you take some people who get extremely specialized in the types of education and stuff they have, outside of that speciality, then their general knowledge and intelligence might not be actually that great.
Yeah. I see Susanna says, show me an intelligent person and I will show you a person with the weight of the world on their shoulders. The difference is how they deal with it. What do you think?
I'd really like to disagree, but from the people I would classify as intelligent, for me, not just on a specialist topic, but on just all over, yeah, I would say they're thinking about that much that it's hard for them to switch off. And again, depends on their lifestyle, their what they actually do to get that release.
Yeah, I think.
Sorry.
No, I was going to say I think sometimes those two people can be one and the same. They feel like they've got to save the world, or they feel like they've got the world on their shoulders and they have to do something about it, and so on. So again, it doesn't generally mean they're happy. But an intelligent person can be happy, though. I mean, it's not all doom and gloom.
No, as I said, the likes of Stephen Hawking, even with all his additional problems, from what I've read about him, not only on TV shows, just having jokes made about himself, but also that was apparently him for his whole life as well.
Yes.
And if you can achieve both, then more power to them all for being able to achieve that.
And he had a sense of humor too.
Yeah.
So yeah, no, I they are not linked. I agree that they're not linked at all. They're not tied together in any way at all. Just because you're rich doesn't mean you're happy. Some of the poorest people can have an amazing life.
Yeah,
a more fulfilled life.
But it does make it easier.
Yes, it does. Yes, it does. But yeah, anybody else have questions or answers or statements or something in the side chat for us? Chat's very quiet tonight, but it's okay. I guess Susanna's going to be the only one talking tonight.
All right. Well, following on from that, though, what would you rather have? Intelligence and happiness, intelligence and money, or poor but rich in life, with you have what you want and you're happy with that, or which of those three choices would you go for?
Do I have to choose?
Because it's your show.
No, but why must I choose between?
If you had to choose one.
Repeat them for me.
Intelligent but unhappy.
Didn't you say happy at first?
No, unhappy.
Okay.
Intelligence, unhappy but lots of money.
Okay.
Or content with life, and rich of life, with family, friends around you.
The last one.
No.
The last one. However, money would make it would make it easier to travel to other friends that don't live in my country.
Yes,
and make the same memories.
Yeah, but then here's the other thing: if you actually got good friends, and one of them win the lottery, maybe they'll buy you a round the world ticket.
That'd be nice. That'd be nice, but no, this is realistic now, and it doesn't happen in the real world.
Unfortunately, not.
So I would choose the letter, the last one. I'd want to be rich in life and experience.
I think I would have to agree.
Yes, because as much as money would make life easier, it doesn't solve everything.
No.
All right, nothing from the site I see. Sure. We're flying through questions tonight. It looks like I'm going to bed early tonight.
Well, considering how hectic today was, I think that's probably not a bad idea with work tomorrow.
Yeah, it's there's only like 9 of us at work anyway, because everybody else is working from home. So, here we go. Jane says true friendships mean so much. They do. And you only know it's true when it's reciprocated and it's honest. Other than that, it's not real friendship.
And I'm definitely not going to disagree with that.
No. Oh, welcome, Morris. Good to see you. It's fine that you're late. The second question was, you did ask. Okay, so does this sound intense? It does. It does sound intense. But it's a very easy one. It's a very, very easy one. So let's go to question 3. So question 3 says, human memory has been shown to be incredibly unreliable. With that in mind, how do you know which of your memories are genuine and which have been altered or made up? Oh my word. I don't know. I'm putting my hands up and saying, I don't know. I think maybe the one that has the most emotion to it.
Isn't that then more likely going to want you to make changes to that memory?
I don't know.
Right. No, fair enough. Obviously, for example, on your upcoming wedding day, yeah, you'll obviously be very happy, and that will be a memory that will stick with you, right? And for me, that sort of a memory would stay quite true to itself. However, if it's a sad memory, are you then more likely to alter it slightly to
make it more sad?
Yeah, or to make it less sad, maybe.
Well, depending which way you go. If you're someone that is that loves your attention, you may make it more sad. As if you're the other way around, you don't want to downplay it, and it's not that bad.
Right. So, to put a bit more specificity on this question, then, the memories that we're talking about being fake or as true to life as possible, are we talking about memories that things that we've experienced just ourselves as a single person, our viewpoint of the world, or is it a group event? But again, there's been studies done that show that group memories can be changed quite easily as well for certain experiences.
Well, yes, it's maybe because Clive, sorry, I just had to jump in Clive Wells, which is where Clive Wells' message. Nice to see you, Clive. It's good to see you. I'm sorry to interrupt your football. But But I wasn't going to stop the show for the football. But if you do carry on watching, that's all good. I don't mind. There's always 2 weeks from now, so don't stress about it.
Yeah, it's not like football's coming home anyway.
Well, not for you, no, because you're not English.
No, but it's not going to come to England either.
Can you please leave the negativity out of my show?
That'll be a positivity. Listen, ask the Scottish people in the chat. They will tell you the same.
Well, my dad is English, so I'm hoping it comes home, okay?
No, as somebody from Great Britain, I genuinely do hope they win it, but I'm never going to miss out the opportunity to have a little dig at the English.
As I keep saying to you before, you're an asshole.
Yeah, but I try to be a genuine asshole because at least I admit it.
Well, welcome, Clive Wells. It's good to see you. But yeah, in terms of a memory thing, there are so many times that hang on, is Italy playing against England?
Yes.
Okay. All right, then I'm not choosing. I can't choose because both sides of my family are both of these countries, so I can't choose. So anyway, back to the matter at hand.
Do you remember the question?
I've got it in front of me. I think a memory can be unreliable unless you have a photographic memory. But for the old regular Joes like myself, my memory is terrible. Like, I can't even remember what I ate last week Tuesday. I can't even remember what I ate on Tuesday. So it's. But my memory, but I do remember things that mean a lot to me or have hurt me a lot, and lessons that I've learned from those memories, whether good or bad. I still try and remember those lessons that I need to learn, and sometimes I'll forget the reason why I'm learning that lesson. Not the reason, but the what happened, the actual situation of why I've learned that lesson. But the lesson still remains. And I think that's important. So sometimes if your memory is bad, it's fine. And if it's unreliable, whatever, nothing you can really do about it besides doing memory exercises, I suppose, and trying to go back and remember things. And it's just, for me, it's a lesson learned from situations.
Okay, then, so would it be fair to say that if you and I, for example, have a joint experience at some event, right? Mm-hmm. So, I don't know, let's say we're at a concert or something, and we both talking about it in 5 years from now or something, that actually neither of us would remember correctly, and the truth would be somewhere in between.
It would never set us free because we wouldn't know the truth. No, I think it would be a case of there would be, you would remember some stuff, I'd remember some stuff. One of us would forget who we went to go watch, or one of us would forget if we stood in the golden circle, or if we stood in the common crowd, the standing crowd, or if we went to go sit on the stands. We would forget what time we got there. We would forget what time the show was. One of us would always remember one part of the story. And that's when if you put it together, the story together, that then say, right, this is what happened that night, and wouldn't that be considered the truth?
I think it would be the fairest way to do it, because if it's an experience that you're remembering, or an event that you're remembering on your own as an individual, then I don't think you're ever going to really know whether your memory's changed or not.
No, unless someone contradicts what you said.
Yeah. So again, then in a group, I think unless you have other people to test that memory against, or unless, for example, like your wedding day will potentially be recorded, that you could actually go back and watch something again. I find it very hard to say that your memories that you can be convinced that your memories are 100% true, because again, even in a court of law, there's less emphasis put now on eyewitnesses than there was 50 years ago, for example.
Unless
because
it's
again,
a victim.
yes, but if we take something like bank robbery bank robbery, for example, and you ask 10 people in the bank to describe the robber to an artist to draw a picture of them, then you'll probably end up with 10 different pictures.
No, I agree with you. But now, yeah, no, I agree with you. I like, for instance, in the court of law, Danny Masterson has been charged for 3 counts of rape, and he's going on trial, and the whole trial is based on the victim's experience. It happened about 20 years ago. Can you rely on that experience? Rely on their memory of what happened?
Bigger question.
I mean, it was so traumatic. Do you think that maybe the brain changed some stuff?
I think that's a very real possibility, but in that particular case, I think the biggest question is why are the police not getting a court order so that the evidence that they give at the time and that was recorded in Scientology, because everything's recorded, not being seized?
Asked for, because of Scientology, and their lawyers will basically say no, can do. It's church doctrine that you cannot read our personal files unless we give them to you to read at our own accord, or on our own, what's the word? It's our way. We will give it to you if we want to.
Yes, so until we're ready to throw this person under the bus, we're saying they're innocent.
Yes, that's exactly it. So, yeah, I just think that memories can be unreliable, for sure. But memories are also, you're also able to recall memories and unshuffle them and actually get what's, bring out the memory that is true. So I don't know. I think it just depends on the person, and if they're able to do the memory exercises to bring forth the memory that they desire, or the memories that reenact something that they've been through.
Well, see, the interesting thing for me is you say you've got a bad memory, yeah?
Yes.
When it comes to things that people say, I'm quite good at remembering them.
Yes, I know this.
However, when it comes to visual memories, it's very much different. It's very specific things that I would remember visually.
Mm.
So again, then is there a difference in the types of memories and the way you can recall them then as well?
No. Sorry. I think different types of memories, it just depends on, I mean, some people memorize the bad things that happen to them more than they do the good things. And this is why some of them think that they are incapable of actually doing anything right, because they're not remembering the good stuff that they've done because they don't want to, because of the trauma that they've been through. And then there's some people that's vice versa, where they block out the negative in their life completely, and they think they're on top of the world and no one can hurt them.
So it's fair to say that in either of those two cases, then the memories are definitely flawed.
Yes, everybody's memory is flawed. It's just a case of having evidence to prove the memories. But if you can't, then it's up to you if you're going to believe the person or not. And I think that maybe emotion is a way of kind of putting two and two together. You know, there's so much emotion with what she's saying, it has to be true, or what he's saying, it has to be true, because why would anybody just put emotion to anything that they're saying if it's not true? But again, sometimes the person doesn't even know if it's true or not.
And that's where we go in this circle. How do we
I don't know. I really don't know. This is a difficult question. I think it's more difficult than all the others, but than the ones that we've answered, I beg your pardon. And it's just, yeah, no, I don't know. So, but I understand the reason why AB isn't here is because there are prior arrangements that happened. So, Bacon Earth has graciously decided to stand in for me. AB Science will be on the 8th of August. So if you would like to see him, that's when he'll be on. But yeah, I is there anything else from the chat that anybody else has anything to say? Bacon, do you have anything else to say?
No, but I see it's just me. Susanna has a comment in the chat there as well.
Oh yes, there we go. Sorry. Memories are excuse me. Memories are inclined to change depending on what we take from the experience that leads to them. Yes. But you know, my word, my brain is switching off already.
Yeah, I think this question goes round in circles. So I think let's move on to question 4 before we both switch off.
Thank you. All right, so question 4 is: different people and different organisms perceive reality to vastly different ways. Let me read that again. Different people and different organisms perceive reality in vastly different ways. With that in mind, what is real and what is just our perception of reality? Or does every organism live in its own personal reality? Well, flat earthers live in their own reality, so yes.
Yes, very much so.
Anti-vaxxers live in their own reality.
Most conspiracy theorists live in their own reality because, interestingly, with recently Ranty Flat Earth has converted back to the globe.
Yeah, I know that.
And he said his the biggest effect, or the biggest reason that he changed back, was actually because he got out of that echo chamber. He got away from that perspective, and he actually spoke to normal people, and he didn't speak about flat Earth. He wasn't looking at ways of denying reality. He was just living a normal life. He was going out to work. He was enjoying time with friends and family, and he came back to reality. But as for, is it fair to say that this question is, what is reality, and how do we actually justify that what we think reality is true?
No.
No?
Maybe I'm understanding this wrong. Different people and different organisms perceive reality in vastly different ways. So they're also including organisms. It just depends on the organism. The organism's world is in that bubble that they're feed, reproduce, and sleep.
Yep.
Eat, sleep, and reproduce. That is it.
Yep.
That is their reality. Ours as human species, on the other hand, is a lot more complex than that. A lot more. So you could be the troglodyte that's just living in a water bubble. It isn't in a water droplet. Or you could be as complex as a dog or a cat or a human or a giraffe or any other animal. Each of us have a different perspective on, or we see a different perspective on what reality is. Some people think that we're living in a simulation. Some people think that the earth is flat. Some people think that the earth is a donut. That the earth is hollow. That
the earth is concave. We live on the inside of it.
Whichever. Some people believe that we have that there is a multiverse. There are aliens, and there are this, and there are that, and this happened and that happened. It just depends on your experience. But it becomes a reality when more than one person agrees on what they're seeing.
Yeah, shared experience, I think, would be.
So if I can give you an example.
Yeah.
Yes, if I can give you an example. If I show you the color black, you're going to tell me it's black. Then we agree that is black. The reality on the ship at the moment is that there's a little girl with blonde and blue hair and pink hair with a bulldog next to her. That is a reality that I am seeing. What everybody else is seeing could be different. Some people may not even see pink and blue because they're colorblind, or they can't use the colors because they're colorblind. So does that make their reality different?
No, I think it changes their perception of it slightly. But again, then this is where I think if we come back to what is most likely with if numerous people are experiencing the same thing, we'd have to agree that is reality. But do different people see it different ways? Obviously, yes, but are those differences drastic enough to really make a difference?
And depending on how big the group is. It all just depends on how big the group is, that's all.
But then, is the complexity of human life the reason why we have so many different realities? Because we are then looking at so much more complexity than, like you say, an animal will worry about having shelter, having food, and reproducing.
Mm-hmm. That is their reality.
Yeah.
Whereas for us, as a human race, our reality can be 300 different things. You know, it all just depends on the person and their experience.
I would agree with that.
I don't know. It's a bit of a toughie though too. But again, it all just depends on the perspective of the person, and the reality they perceive to be. Again, anti-vaxxers think that the government is doing a number of things to us through the vaccine. You know, the government is trying to control us by making us wear masks and stuff like that. In actual fact, the only reason they're doing that is because there's a pandemic. And to stop the spread of it is why we wear a mask. That is my perception of what is happening now.
Yes, and interestingly, I was actually listening to anti-vaxxers last night. And even when they presented claims and then evidence to support their claims, when people educated in the topic turned around and said, no, actually, this is not the case, they still weren't able to actually acknowledge that.
No, because it doesn't go with their agenda. It's the same with people that push veganism. I've got no issues with vegans. I honestly don't. Just don't push it onto me. I have no interest in being a vegan. I have no interest in being a vegetarian. I enjoy my meat and that's that. It's just don't push your perception onto me. Sorry, I'm going on to a different topic now, aren't I?
No, but I think that's a very good way to look at it. We all have our different perspectives on life and perception of reality. And I think we should do our best not to push our realities onto somebody else. Because at the end of the day, as humans, we all judge. It's part of humanity now, but should we really judge until we walk in a mile in that person's shoes?
But even then, your perception might be different to the person that actually did it in the first place.
Yeah, I think it probably would be if we...
I mean, it's the reason why you go to people for opinions on a situation or a question or something. You've thought about this question. I mean, it'll be, and this is a perfect example. It's all fine and dandy that I do the show and I talk by myself and talk about the answers. But now everybody's only getting my perception of the answers. Whereas if I have a guest on, they're getting a different perspective on that answer. So it's their perspective, my perspective, and now my guest's perspective. There's 3 different perspectives in one shot. So, and then maybe if someone puts on their perspective in this live side chat, that's 4 people, 5 people, 6 people giving in their perception of life or whatever it is that we're talking about. You know, so I think that my perspective of life is different to yours, is different to Chris, Kiri, Susanna, Marius. I mean, myself and Marius, we live in the same country. My perspective on my country and his perspective on the country is probably different. My perspective on the apartheid will be different to his perspective. I've spoken to about 4 people about the apartheid, and all 4 of them give me a different story. But it's not a story, it's their side, it's their perspective of what they saw happen. You know? So even then, you have the same event that happened, but each person saw it differently.
Yeah, and then going back to our other question, as our memories change of that event, then our perspective on it then would also change.
Yes. Yes. If I came to you and said, you know, do you remember when this and this and this happened? You're like, no, Roxy, it didn't happen that way. It happened this, this, and this way. And I'd be like, okay, but I remember it this way. No, Roxy, it happened this, this, and this way. And here's why it happened this, this, and this way, because this was the outcome of why it happened that way. You know? So yes, sometimes a human's mind does forget things. I know that I tend to, if I can say, edit out negativity from my brain. It sounds like woo, but it happens. It happens. There are some negative things that have happened in my life that I can barely remember the whole entire event that happened, because my brain has just put it in a box and put it in the back of my head with all the spider webs and stuff, you know? So yeah, it's just perspective is different for everybody.
And I see my Inquisitor has turned up in the chat, so hello, Inquisitor.
So let's just catch up, and I see that Tusk has entered the chat as well. Welcome, and it's good to see you, Tusk. I'm sorry for interrupting your football. Susanna says, is reality what we make it, good or bad? Not all the time. Some things you can't control. It's how you handle it. But yeah, it's whether good or bad, it's not something, not everybody can make their own reality. You cannot be a bystander of your own life, yes. Don't be a bystander of your own life and make your own life happen and, you know, live your own life. But we can't, there are some things that we can and we can't help with in terms of being good or bad. Right. Anything you want to add to that, Bacon?
No, I'm going to agree with you on that. You can't really change reality, no matter how much we want it.
All right. So, Tusk, thank you again. I'm sorry for interrupting your football. I'm not watching the sports. You couldn't care less. Well, I'm glad you were here instead. I'm glad you find this a lot more interesting than football. It means the world to me. But yes, unfortunately, that is all the questions we have. Normally when we have good, the good questions, we can speak for 2 hours just on one question. But these questions were a lot easier to answer than your first questions.
Yeah, and I think it's been very kind to us today, because I think the questions knew that we had a long day.
If you don't mind, because you are my first one and we do have a bit of time still, I do want to go back to my first guest has come back. So I do want to go to your first questions and revisit them briefly, if you don't mind.
Absolutely, go for it.
Okay. What harsh truths do you prefer to ignore? So just remember, this is truth, as in TRUTHS. What harsh truths do you prefer to ignore? Now, do you remember your original answer? You have
my original answer was, we're only here for a short time.
Yes. Now, if you don't know, that is in my trailer. So if you don't know that question and that answer, you're not watching my trailer.
Yes. Now, that's a personal one for me. But I think in general, I think a truth that a lot of people don't want to address is that lies will always catch up with you, and the truth will always out. And
Yes.
Clive Wells is very happy because England have scored.
Oh, there we go. Congratulations, England. I think also with that question is people want to ignore that we are actually in a pandemic. And that is a harsh truth at the moment. They ignore the rules, they ignore just don't even have to listen to your government. Just be freaking courteous of the person next to you to not give them the bloody virus. Just wear your bloody mask. Stay at home if you're sick. If you've got the symptoms, go get yourself tested and stay at home or go to your doctor. Just be damn well courteous. That's all it is.
Right. So I'm going to change my response now as in terms of a harsh truth that we don't want to admit for general. We don't want to admit to ourselves that we're really no more important than anybody else.
Yeah, of course.
Whereas I think a lot of people, and especially in the situation you just brought up about this pandemic, that a lot of people see themselves as, well, what about my rights? What about my discomfort and everything else, without actually looking further beyond themselves, even to the extent of their own family, because they get entrenched in this way of thinking that they're not even wearing masks around older family members who are more at risk.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I get it. Also, Inquisitor Bacon, welcome. I'm so sorry. Bacon did say hi, but I should have also said hello and welcome to the stream. It's good to see you here. No, I just think that a lot of people just want to ignore the harsh truths because it changes their way of thinking, their way of life. And some people are opposed to change. Right. Next one is, what should be the goal of humanity? I don't even remember this question. I mean, if we say that the goal of humanity should be happiness, you're living in a dream world because it's not going to ever happen.
I think my original answer was something along the lines of, just don't be a dick to each other. Realistically, are as a species, are we going to get off this planet? I think
eventually.
yes, but realistically, considering we're talking about generational ships, unless something changes with faster than light travel, which is unlikely, will they even be, by the time you do that number of generations, would the two groups of humanity be the same anymore? And staying within the next couple of lifetimes, I think our goal should be to stop trying to destroy the one planet that we can actually live on at the moment.
That would be nice.
If we can do that, remove greed, which I know is a big thing for you, and I think those two go hand in hand. I think that wouldn't be a bad place to start.
I agree. But again, there are there are so many goals. There isn't just one. You know, stop poverty. Stop spending billions on making trash. Stop spending billions on throwaway fashion. Stop spending billions on stupid shit like, I don't know. Just stop spending. Feed the hungry. Feed charities. Put money towards charities. Stop spending billions on something stupid. If you have $1 million, to just throw away on something stupid, go to someone that's fucking in debt. Sorry, go to someone that's in debt and ask them, do you have debt that you need to settle? And settle their debt for them. Or just give to charities, give to someone on the side of the road. Just so then we can all be, wealthy in life in terms of not having debt, not having shit like that in our lives. But again, there's you get pros and cons, and the con of that is that, this person helped me out to get rid of my debt. Now I can go do it again because someone else is going to help me out. So that's also a big problem. It's a huge problem. And this is probably why it doesn't happen. This is probably why the rich don't help people out of their debt. You get these shows that help people with their homes, to remodel their homes, or, help them empty their house with that's been, that they've hoarded shit with. And, that's all nice. But go back to their house after a year, 2 years, and see what's happened. They only go back to the houses that have stayed clean.
Yeah, so...
Or they go back to the houses or they do the opposite completely just for the drama. They go back to the houses that have gone back to the way they used to be.
Yeah, so then does that take the responsibility away from the individual if people did that? Interesting question in itself.
The responsibilities of the person that lives in that situation. So if someone did come to me and say, here's so much to help you pay your debt. Now, are you going to go and get another credit card? I would be like that. No. It's stressful to have a credit card. It's stressful to have a loan on your name. I'm not going to go do it again because the next time someone may not help me. And even if someone does offer to help, do you have any loans? I'll be like, no. But if you do want to throw that money away, go give it to this person. But that's the type of person I am. That's the kind of person I am. I know someone that needs a bit of cash to, have a good, decent wedding, or school, stuff for school, or stuff for their home, just so they can, groceries for the month or for 2 months. That's the kind of people we need more of on this planet. And I know of one that he makes these videos on Facebook, and he goes around helping people, buy food, or buy groceries, or get them to go to school. So he'll pay for a year's worth of school and buys the school uniforms and their books and such. And and I think it's fantastic that there's people like this still. We need more of those people. He doesn't like help them out for the rest of their life. He just helps them out of the situation so they can get out of that ditch.
No, and that's actually a very interesting point, because yes, there are people who go around and give people huge sums of money, right? There's a couple of people on YouTube, for example, that actually that's how they make their living. They go around, and because they're giving out such huge sums of money to to individuals. That it does change one person's life, but would it be better then to actually change a whole lot of people's lives by, like you say, getting people groceries for a couple of months who are really struggling, put somebody through school who has the opportunity to become a doctor and help hundreds of people?
Yeah.
Which actually becomes more beneficial to society.
Or help that one couple that wants to have a small wedding or a decent wedding or something. Or whatever the case. Books. Buy books for the person. Something. Just help out people. I understand that there are people that have worked hard for their money. And I get that. Some people have inherited it. But the people that have worked hard for their money, and I understand why they don't, some of them give it away and some of them help out people. And there are good people like that in their life. And some people are like, no, it's my hard-earned money. I'm not just giving it away. That's greed. But yet again, yes, you have worked hard for that money. But you're now earning more than enough to sustain your life. You can now help out someone else. So they can get into the same position that you had to uplift their life, so they don't live on the streets, so they don't live in poverty, so they don't live, month to month, so they don't live 1 month behind, And it doesn't have to be, this world doesn't have to be utopia. There's no such thing. Because there will always be cracks in a utopia, because the human race does not like living in a utopia.
No.
This is why dystopian movies do so much better than utopian movies.
Toss last comment. A good wedding doesn't necessarily mean having spent a load of money on a dress or anything else. I think it's more important that you have the right people at your wedding to help you celebrate that union.
Yes. No, I agree with that. I completely agree with that. Just to be able to get a couple of your closest friends together, your immediate family, and a small venue so you can party it up. And it doesn't even have to be big either. It's the small things that count, just to help that person have that bit of happiness in their life. And who knows, one day they'll pay it forward. And that's the way it's supposed to be. If something's done good unto you, pay it forward. Welcome, Demon Orb. It's good to see you. It's good to see you. Today's a bit of more relaxed conversation, but it's good to see you.
I think it's just me. Susanna has a very lofty goal for humanity.
To get Clive Wells, let me put this up. To get Clive Wells to admit some woo is okay. Well, I suppose it all just depends on the end results. Because I think that I don't know. As I say, I don't have an opinion on this game for obvious reasons. I don't. Mm-hmm. So let's quickly go. I know that Inquisitor also said having to fight a new hard drive because mine took a crap. Okay.
You went through the same about a month ago, didn't you?
Yeah, no, a bit more than a month ago. Here we go. Tusk has said the ultimate goal of humanity appears to bring about the end times, a generation in advance. I just think the human race has a goal of just destroying itself, whether it's tomorrow, whether it's a generation too early or 10 generations too late. It's still going to destroy itself in one way or another. If we don't, then I will retract my statement and say we do not belong in this. We do not deserve this planet anymore. Because I don't think we do. We no longer deserve this planet. we haven't deserved this planet for a long time. For a very, very long time. So that's my opinion.
Yeah, considering some of the things we've done to it, especially
exactly.
in terms of the effects it has on humanity, I don't think you're far wrong.
Well, just the effects that what we're doing, we think that we're helping, but we're actually not. The amount of plastic, it's easy to make, it doesn't cost money, or doesn't cost that much money to make, but the amount of plastic that we have in this planet, on this planet, there's a freaking island of plastic in the ocean. An island. It's ridiculous. Utterly ridiculous. So the goal of humanity should be to clean up its act and pull up its socks. That should be the goal of humanity.
Yeah, and as Tuss
and
says,
stop greedy.
Yeah, and that's exactly what Tuss is saying. No, unfortunately, we are inherently selfish and don't care what comes after us.
Exactly.
And for a lot of people, that unfortunately is very true.
Yes. I agree with that. I definitely agree with that. Right, let's move on to question 3. I just missed question 2 because I'm not used to doing this after. Anyway, doesn't matter. Question 3 was, does fate exist? If so, do we have free will? Now, we don't have to go through all of the questions again. So if you don't want to answer this again,
Personally, for me, yes, faith exists in some form or another. That doesn't mean to say that I believe I am unable to accept our current understanding of reality.
No, hang on. I think you misunderstood the question. Does fate, F-A-T-E.
Fate. Sorry, fate.
I think this is tough for you.
If you'd asked me that question 3 years ago, I'd say no.
Well, I asked you this about a year ago.
I can't remember what the answer was, but
just over a year ago, it was last September.
In certain respects, yes. I think it does. But that's because I'm quite happy to accept a little bit of woo in life.
You and I both. And do I believe in fate? Yes. To a certain extent. I still like to think that I am running the show in my own life. But things do come into my life that are meant to happen. That is meant to happen. Or not meant to happen. So, the things that I can control in my life, that's not fate. If I can control something happening in my life, yes. Things that I can't control is fate. That's how I see it. Anyway, let's move on to question 4, and then we can say our goodbyes, yeah?
Sounds good.
So question 4 is, what does it mean to live a good life?
For me, don't screw over people. Try to help others where you can.
But that goes with your question too. Don't be a dick.
Don't be a dick. And remembering that if everybody contributes to that sort of goal, just because some people are able to come up with ideas that make a big change, at the end of the day, simple things make a huge difference to an awful lot of people too. So I think giving everybody that fair recognition as well of the impact if they're doing something means a lot as well.
I think to live a good life is not be a dick, one of them. Don't use people. I agree with that one. And do what you can to be happy. Even if you're in the shit, even if you are stressed, even if you are going through a lot in your life. The small things in life that make you happy, do them. If you like to play games for 12 hours, do it. If you like to edit videos, do it. If you like to spend, the whole day on the couch in your pajamas, do it. Life is short. Spend it doing the things that you love to do. Spend it talking to people that reciprocate what you give to them. Don't live life worrying about other people's nonsense and drama and crap. You have your own life to live. And find what it is that you love doing and do it. I think it's that simple.
And on that note, I think that's a great way to end the show, because I think that's a very good sentiment.
I think I'm going to clip that. Anyway, guys, again, I'm so sorry about AB Science not being here. I was looking forward to him answering the questions, but again, I can't control what happens to other people. So at least the show did carry on with my good friend Bacon Earth, and we were able to have some good times with some old questions that he did answer in his first show. To everyone in the chat, is there anything else that you guys would like to bring up or answer or talk about before we finish things off? If not, then we can close things off, as Bacon does. In the meantime, Bacon doesn't have a channel anymore. I think he got bored of the situation, so he stopped doing videos.
Yeah, let's just say I had a little bit more than enough of the drama and stuff that's going on in the community, so I stepped away.
So Tusk says when it decides to come up on StreamYard, it'd be great. But he does say sometimes we have to be a dick in psychic defense. No, when we say don't be a dick, I mean don't be a dick to someone that's being nice to you.
Yes, but in fairness, we know Tusk is a dick. So, but he just happens to be a lovable one.
Oh my goodness! And then he says, "We can't spend all of our lives being altruistic. We aren't wired that way." I understand that.
No, but I think that comes back to the point of you said that where it's reciprocal.
Oh, yes, okay.
And still doing the things that make you happy instead of doing
things that make you unhappy. Why would you do things
trying to make other people happy?
I see. That's a problem I have. That's a problem I have, and I'm trying very hard to break that. Very hard. It's not easy.
And I think Inquisitor Bacon's got the right idea. That's why sometimes I just have fun chasing down the player that killed me in War Thunder.
Yes.
A little bit of salt is good for the diet.
Oh, but that's all generated nonsense. It's not real life, that. But, for me to get my frustration out, what do? So I go play Unreal Tournament 2004 and I shoot the shit out of people. Or robots, or lizards, or whatever. Lizard people things. That's how I get my frustration out. Or I go and build a house in The Sims. That's how I get my frustrations out.
Or great baking holes in Valheim.
Whichever. Whichever gets me out of this reality for a little bit, just to recenter myself.
Yeah, and I think Tusk hits it. We also cannot take somebody being nice to us all the time. Sooner or later, we snap and tell them to F off. And Tusk, that's why I will never be nice to you.
Well, he hasn't told me to F off, and I'm only nice to him.
Oh, you need to be around him a bit more.
Unless this is him telling me to F off. Oh my goodness, Tusk, you're a wonderful person to have in the chat. Your sense of humor is amazing. Okay, so on that note, guys, as I say, Bacon doesn't have a channel, so we got nothing to plug there. But I will remove everything that's not necessary in the description. And but yes, I do apologize for not having AB Science on tonight. However, if all goes to plan, we will have Mr. Sensible on the 25th of July at 8 p.m. CAT, 1 p.m. CST. And then our next Scientology show will be on the 28th of August at 7 p.m. CAT and 11 a.m.
28th of July. Yes.
28th of August.
August, okay.
Yes, 28th of August is 1 per month, remember? At 11 a.m. Mountain Standard Time, because I put that there so I remember that it's his time. Other than that, guys, I want to thank each and every one of you for being here. It's been amazing to have you all here. Let's go from the top. Mr. Victory, I know you were listening in the background, and I do appreciate it, and I hope that you and your daughter are having good times. Chris, it's good to see you as well. Let's come hang around more. It's always good to have chats with you. Susanna and Jane, it's always good to have you both in my chat. Jane, you're following me around everywhere, and I love it. Kiri, always good to see you, honey. Really, really it is. Again, same with Chris. We must have chats more often. It's good to hang out with you both. Who else? Let's see who. Mr. Andrat, he keeps noticing that something's wrong with my video. No, I'm joking. It's the first time he's ever said something was wrong with my video. Even though I spotted something in one of my other videos, but it's all good. Thank you again for letting me know that there was no sound on my video. It was appreciated very, very much. I wasn't at home, so I had to try and do everything from my cell phone, which wasn't very easy, but it's fine. Who else has come in? Then we had Marius come in. Thank you. Hang on. Marius, buy a donkey. I appreciate you coming in. It's very, very much appreciated. Clive Wells, good luck with the football, man. I hope that for your sake England wins. Somebody wins, but I hope for your sake England wins, I guess. Babel, if I said that wrong, I'm sorry for butchering your name. So let's just stick with Bat. Again, I'm sorry about AB Science. Tusk, always good to have a jokester in the side chat and a dick in the side chat. Instigator Bacon, good to see you as well. It's always good to see you. You don't come by often, but when you do come, it's good. When you do come by, it's good. Other than that, and Demon Orb as well, thank you also for popping in and saying hi. It's good to see you as well. And with that, I think we're done. So we'll see you all on the 25th of July with Mr. Sensible. Cheers, everyone.
Bye.